back to Aztec Emerald. I am Dan the Mexican. This is all my shit on the socials, all right there. So go follow me, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook? Aztec Emerald on Facebook. Yeah, I'm not going to personally follow me on Facebook. And obviously the YouTube account. The YouTubes. Haven't done nerd stuff in ages, and I want to get back more at doing it more, at least as consistently as I can be and as I usually am. I have been doing MMA for God knows how long now, of just videos on MMA, so I wanted to do some nerd stuff. I've seen a few movies and didn't bother doing reviews and stuff. 1 second. But I thought, feck it, I'll do a review, and then I might do another video of just news in general, and maybe go over the James Gunn crazy shit. Stupid people in suits making stupid decisions. And too much pride to go back on it and fucking things up for absolutely everybody. So I'm going to go into that, but that'll be a different video. And then I'm going to do a small little video on Comic-Con, and because Dublin Comic-Con happened there last weekend. And yeah, there's a few Irish comics and Irish comic creators and stuff like that that I want to tell you about, because you should learn them, because you'll enjoy the shit out of it. So yeah, that'll be another video as well. But for now, Ant-Man and the Wasp review. So I saw that about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. When did I have it? I don't know. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I went for a procedure, and then after that, I was still groggy from the anesthetic and stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna go to the cinema and see Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I'm gonna get Coca-Cola slushy, because for some reason, for glorious reason, there's a cinema near me, one of the closest cinemas near me, that I just was like, nah, I'm gonna go to the one in town with the big, massive, over-the-top crap, and it's actually not really worth it. The one that's actually like really close to me has like way better leg room, like so much more leg room, and they have IMAX. So I'm like, all right, grand. I don't need to go anywhere else. And also the tidbit, I used to go to the other one in town because I was like, well, they do slushies of Tango, and they're delicious. But something they used to do years ago that they stopped doing in pretty much everywhere until I found this particular cinema does it, was legit Coca-Cola slushies. Not cola flavored, like the company Coca-Cola Limited have their own machine with their own slushies. Oh my Jesus Christmas Jones. I get large, and then if I'm in a point of a movie where I'm like, this is the quiet down point before shit happens again, I can kind of get where this conversation's going, I'll run out and get another one, and it was sweet. But I was really enjoying the movie, really good movie. Lots of sugar, lots of cola, it was great. Felt like a little kid, still kind of woo from the anesthetic and stuff, and like kind of just very I had to like do a lot of recaps and stuff of it, because the anesthetic thing that I was on, it's not necessarily that it puts you to sleep. It whatever your brain allows you to, like, whenever you take something in, any information, and then it stores it in your head, this basically blocks that neural pathway. So you take the information in and you react, and then it's gone. Just, you know the phrase, in one ear, out the other? That's like almost essentially the mindscape you're in. It's kind of like Rufalin, if I'm honest. But yeah, so they want to shove a camera down your throat. They found that over the years that they were like, man, when people are asleep, it's way harder, and the recovery is a bastard, and it wrecks their throats and everything. And we can't do another camera test for ages. So if there's a mess up on like being able to read it one day for whatever millions of reasons, we can't do another one for a while without really like seriously hurting them. Because once you shove something down there, it all gets inflamed and everything, like, and like gets bigger and swells up. And when someone's asleep, it's dead weight, and it's just. But when you're awake, your chest cavities and everything are all opened up, all your airwaves, everything's flowing and working. So they need to talk to you and work with you. However, when you're conscious, like fully awake, and someone's shoving a fucking big tube down your throat, and like, okay, Okay, are you okay? You're okay. Okay, and you're just like it's like you can like sucking dick. That's cool. Getting choked by one because it just keeps going past down your throat where the food's supposed to go, but someone's still holding the other end, and it's plastic and rubber. Yeah, it doesn't really work that well when the person's 100% awake. But there's something about your brain when it doesn't lock it and take it in. You'd think when someone says, I'm going to do this, you're going to go, ah, no. But literally, as the seconds happen, you respond and react without actually remembering. Like, I've zero recollection. I don't remember getting to the cinema either. Like, I don't remember majority of what happened. I remember waking up. No, 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 that's a lie. I don't. That's a different one. I don't even remember sitting. I think I remember sitting down in my seat in the cinema. And the scene with the ankle bracelet because he's playing with his kid. Oh yeah, I saw the dun 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 Marvel thing. Yes, so I saw that. But like there's gaps missing, so I had to do recaps. But from what I remembered and from the other stuff that I've reminded me and re-triggered my brain, man, that was a fun film. That was just a fun movie. I really like the fact that they're very coming to terms like with they don't have to all connect. Like obviously it's a part of this bigger universe, so it connects. But the whole plot of the movie doesn't have to be 100% related to building up the next movie. The plot of the movie is the plot of the movie, and then after the fact, you're like, oh, ah. I really like that. I like Infinity War, but I also like the standalones. Do you know what I mean? I like events in comics, but I don't like when events in comics are like, oh, here's an event, but you gotta buy 56 other titles and each consecutive run of the 56 titles for like, I don't know, 10 issues before the main event kind of big thing starts. And then as you're reading that, there'll be these other 25 tie-ins that you're going to want to read. And it's like, oh, for fuck. And then, oh, but after the event, there's then these other loads of other ones that will spin off after the event. And you're like, Jesus, I don't have the time or the money or the patience, really, for this many. And so I'm glad that the movies aren't doing the whole you have to read them all for it to matter. It's like, nope, you can not watch Ant-Man and it doesn't make a difference. You can watch Ant-Man and have not watched Infinity War and it doesn't make a difference. Just leave before the credits. Leave as the credits are on, like, because otherwise, like, wait, what? But even still, that could just be a, huh, what happened there? I don't know. We'll watch the next Marvel thing, you know. But whatever, it's not relevant. It's not connected, and in its own, it's still a standalone movie, and it takes the tropes from the first movie, which is, hey, it's just it's a comedy, but what type of comedy? The first one was kind of a heist kind of comedy, and was sort of meant to be, and then this one is a buddy cop comedy, and I really like it, and it's let's see what other things. Okay, so I have overall, I don't know about this 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10. To be honest, 1 out of 10 is just not a large enough spectrum. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I'd say, The Dark Knight Rises is a 10 out of 10 movie. But I'd also say Avengers, most of the Marvel movies are usually 10 out of 10s. They're great hitters. But they're not the same as the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight's like just another level of movie. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's weird. But as these movies go, there are some that I don't like as much. Like I enjoy Doctor Strange, but I'm not a massive fan of just that film. It was good. It was fun, but I don't know. It didn't like get to me as some of the other movies did, like Guardians and Iron Man 1. Man, that got me deep, deep. right in the cockles. I don't know why, but so I'm not gonna give it a rating. But man, it's fucking fun. It's fucking good. There's some cool action, and I'm gonna get into basically the pros and the cons and rattle it off real quick. So I put fun. It's a fun movie. It's able to stand alone. It's fresh and different. Buddy cops are always great, and in that kind of style as well is very different to the Thor Hulk buddy cop. Having the dad in the middle of the two in the relationship as well. It's kind of like a mish between the two, between another type of movie, and like the awkward romantic thing. But that's not necessarily even the point. It's very good. Um, but yeah, action packed, dude. When there are action scenes, when there's proper fighting, it's done really well, really nice, very tight, very concise. It's good, very impacting. Character development coming from the last movie to this movie. Love when they do that shit. Characters are the most important. The worlds and the settings can be anything, and it's what you kind of gear to more for your fancy. But if the characters are shit and there's no character growth, it doesn't matter. Even if it's 100% immersed in something you love, if there's weakness in that story, in the writing of the growth and development of the people in question, it just becomes weak sauce. The CW, the CW, the CW. Jesus, you were so good, but your character development and growth and consistency and continuity to the changes your characters have, I'm getting very upset. But this one does it right. Michael Pena. Dude, people wanted more of Luis from Michael Pena. They got more Luis from Michael Pena. That guy he's in like some seriously deep fucking resonant movies. He's in some dark movies. He's in some mad movies. That guy is a fucking actor, dude. He is a motherfucking steamroller of an actor. Just give him any role and crush, just crush. Like Dewey when when his dad rents a steamroller and he's in it and he's just crushing over things. Or sorry, not Dewey. When Hal from Knock in the Middle rents a steamroller and he's just going over everything until he ends up getting addicted and like has a serious problem. And Dewey like notices it and he's like, "I'm fine, Dewey. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem." And it's like 3 in the morning and he's still like crushing things in a car park. And then Dewey comes in one day and is in the way and he's like, "Stop! Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" Like going really slowly, like the Austin Powers scene. And he just has this little thing he made, like he whittled out of soap, and it's this little shitty kid person figure thing going like this, and it says written, "I wub you this much." And he just puts it down, and Hal's driving, he sees, and then the camera zooms in, and says, "I wub you this much," and the innocent eyes on the shitty whittled soap character, and Hal's just, and he's like trying to stop. It's fucking brilliant. But yeah, that's Michael Pena, like steamroller. He is a steamroller. Give him any fucking role, and he knocks it out of the park. He's what's that guy's name? Barry Bonds? No, I don't know, man. Some awesome baseball player. I don't know. Where am I? I wrote character development and character relationships. That's the same thing. New additions. They added more people in, and it's not just cram these extra people. It's intriguing. Fishburne as Goliath. He was only in it for a bit. You probably saw it in the trailer. Spoilers. 3, 2, 1. He doesn't go Goliath, but he's definitely going to be involved in the future of the movies because of how they kind of put the character in, what he does, his relevance, and also because it's Lawrence Fishburne. And yeah, wait, whoa! So either he's going to be moonlighting as Perry White, or he's moonlighting as Goliath, or he's just not with Warner Brothers anymore. Oh yeah, and Hannah John Kamen, dude, right? She plays Ghost. really good as the character. I watch a show called Killjoys. That's what I know her from. And every once in a while, I watch shows and I'm like, man, I really like this actor or actress. They're able to do so many different things, and it's taken for granted because the show isn't that well, overtly popular across the mainstream. Um, she's one of, like, I don't know, man, like she's the main character of the show and the reason, but she kind of carries the show, and the other characters, as important as they are, their personalities are sort of based in response to whatever she does or whatever happens to her in the plot, and you buy it because she has this presence about her in the role she plays. Um, she's able to do a legitimate, like, believable American accent without going too far on the, well, you tell me I gotta do American, I can do American. It's like, dude, that's the equivalent to going, I can do an Irish accent because and Jesus. It's like, that's insulting as fuck. And like there's a classic, hey, New York, and it's like, no. Unless you're specifically playing someone from New York, like Sal who owns a deli, hey, like, you can't do that just because you're supposed to be an American person. She's a believable generic American accent. Um, she is British as fuck. Like, she's got, I don't know where she's from, but she has not necessarily a London accent because London is a melting pot, and depending on where you are in London, um, it can range from almost any different type, like South London, you're not me, South London, like, it can get that, or you can get just very, what, British, I don't care. But she very specifically has a very pronounced, I don't think she's from Kent, but there's a place in England called Kent, and hello, I'm from Kent. That's kind of the accent that she has. But then switch American. Here's something people gotta get as well about accents. It fucks up your ability to show that you can act if you can't hit the accent well and naturally, and you think about it too much. Jai Courtney has ruined so many movies with his plain cardboard acting, but he is a good actor. He is in Spartacus, and he plays this dude called Varro. Spartacus, the TV show by Stephen S. Knight, ages ago on Stars, the one that Andy Whitfield used to be on, before he passed. Varro is a really, really interesting, heartfelt character that he's one of the few characters in a show where you want everyone to be a fucking badass and just fuck people up. You really like, oh man, I just want you to go home to your wife with man and your kid. Like, fuck, you're such a good dude. Everyone protect that man. You know what I mean? And it's not like he's special needs or anything like that either. And he portrays that really, really well. He's Australian. He's allowed to use his own accent in Spartacus. In everything else he's done later on, where he's been like the hell of a movie or whatever, like Terminator Genisys. Was it Genisys or was it the other one? The one before Genesis, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. I think it was Genesis. I'm calling it Genesis because that's not how you spell Genesis. And Die Hard. Well, in fairness, he was working with cardboard phoning in Bruce fucking Willis, so that's not exactly 100% on him, but still, it's so many movies He's just wouldn't. They give him an American accent. If you're not good at accents, you can't act out, because a lot of your acting out comes from your facial and your physical expressions, which are connected to the tone in your voice and your passion from when you talk, the words you're given in your script. So it affects things up. Hannah John Kamen is someone who can do that hands fucking down with ease. She is really, really well trained in stage combat. I know they use stunt people as well, but a lot of the work and the ability to do stuff is her too. It makes those scenes and that stuff a lot easier, a lot more believable to look at and to get. she's able to play the level of pain that this character is going through, but at the same time, does she in no way come across as vulnerable. She still comes across as someone who can fuck your shit up. Not even because she's massively powerful, but because of her conviction. And I love that shit. That's a deep character, like. And she's not even really a villain. It's beautifully done, well written, but it's shite no matter how well written it is if the actor can't pull it off, and she can. So I love seeing that. I don't know if she's gonna do more in these movies. I'm not sure. I don't, because of the resolution of that arc of the movie. Technically, she doesn't really have abilities. Spoiler. So I don't know what the story is with that, but whatever. Maybe she'll keep her abilities after the fact without the degrading that they cause or whatever it is. But either way, I love that shit. I love that shit. What I was saying about the character development, the relationships, put it very simply, in the first movie, his baby's mama, Ant-Man's baby's mama, Scott Lang's baby's mama, Mrs. Former Lang, turns around to him at the porch and goes at the kid's birthday and is like, she thinks you're a hero. You are her number one person on the planet. Be the hero that she thinks you are. In this movie, he becomes that hero. And I like the way they don't do the trope of, hey, kid, who we had a scene showing that they're very well understanding situations and everything like that, but then is going to have a strop because Daddy's leaving again. And you're like, well, no, it was already explained. He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to go. And his daughter's like, you have to. This is what you do. You're good at this. And when I grow up, I'm going to be like you because you're a hero. Now do your fucking job. Go on, get out there. I'll be watching you with pride. I'm getting choked up here. But yeah, and you're like, man, that's beautiful. That's fucking beautiful. And Hank Pym has like warmed up to Scott, but he still kind of gives him the cold shoulder in certain situations. It's not he gives him the cold shoulder. He's like, he knows he's a goof, and he's never gonna hide the fact that he knows he's a goof. He's like, no, you are a goof, and I'm gonna take that into account when I make plans and do things. Evangeline Lilly and his relationship is really good. They don't hammer on it. Will they, won't they, will they, won't they? It's like they sort of kind of will eventually, but that's not the point right now. The point is them gelling together as superheroes and being the buddy cops. So I like that as well. There's a back and forth kind of relationship between Fishburne and Pym, which is really good. And yeah, I like that whole shit, man. Like the scene with Michael Pena is great because he goes on this massive story, like the longest of that he's done by far. And then, like halfway through, the guy's like, "Dude," the guy who's forcing him to tell the story, Walter Goggins, is like, "Hey, get to the goddamn point right now." And he's like, "What? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you, man. That's like what I'm doing. You know what I mean?" And it cuts to T.I. and David the Small Chin. They're like, "Yo, man, it's like you started this. You have to finish. You opened Pandora's box. It's what it is. Like, yo, man, you wound him up. You gotta let him go." And Walter Goggins is, okay, continue. It's brilliant. The fight scenes with the Wasp are fucking cool, man. There's like a few of them that are they're really cool. There's more little tropes of like just how a Wasp is easier to do cool shit because instead of being an ant, he goes like small like an ant and he has to kind of walk. She can fly. So she can do things like go into a window, and then as she's going into a window, turn big, which means feet to someone's face, kicking them out the other door. And she goes with them, but then she goes back into a Wasp and goes back in the other window. and it's like, but it's all like dum 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 zing 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 dum 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 dum, and then she's gone and lands back into the other car. It's like really cool shit like that. Car scenes are pretty good. There's pretty good chases. Uh, uh, I'll get into that. There's like little extra tropes that you don't think about that help you, like help your mind explore, get your mind to go ooh and start thinking. When Hank Pym, he has this little box. You might have seen it in the trailer. I'm not sure if it's in the trailer, but he goes like this, boom, and he shrinks one of the cars he has, and he picks it up, and he opens a box, and there's like this array of like what looks like someone's Hot Wheels collection of loads of different types of cars, jeeps, trucks, whatever, and he puts that back and takes out what looks like a tiny mini surveillance van, and puts that down on the floor, and then bing, boom, and comes up into the big, massive armored surveillance van. And that's the van you see in the trailer that has the PIM properties as well. And it's like, man, the things you could actually do with stuff like that, like hoarders won't ever need to be upset about being hoarders anymore. You could get like a room full of irrelevant crap, another room full of just jumpers, a room full of the kind of comics you got that you're gonna read some. You're gonna read some. You're probably never gonna read them. And you know all that kind of shit. Like there's the comics you read and all that shit, but then there's the comics you've bought, and you're like, I'll read them someday. But you can have all that shit, and you're like, well, I don't have the rooms. What do you mean? You've just had 3 rooms full. I have to have 3 spare rooms in my house. And when you talk, well, no, because you have those rooms full, and then you shrink them into a teeny little tiny box. And then you put that teeny little tiny box, and you get your other teeny little tiny boxes, and you line them up, and you get a little mini matchbox. And you open that matchbox, and you put all your little teeny weeny tiny boxes into your matchbox. So you have, you know, clothes, just jumpers, the comics you're never going to read, all of your DVDs, cassettes, and other things. A room full of just receipts, tickets, and stamps, and whatever the fuck nots from places, so you can, because for some reason we have this thing to want to hold on to things sometimes and go, I was there! Which is now kind of jumped and or mutated into, I was there! On like a social feed. But you get all this shit put into a tiny box, and you have that little matchbox, useless, irrelevant junk that I will never want to throw away. And you just put that there in a little box, and you have a box, let's say that big, of loads of different little matchbox drawers, and you pull out each matchbox drawer that has different things, like cars, something else, something else, something else, and like food, massive freezer. Tiny little freezer. Food forever. Just put it in there. Doop. Into a little tiny plug. Done. Yay! Like, the little things you can do are awesome. I started going out the box and started thinking about, well, you know the way people are like, oh, there's zoos are bad. Well, zoos are bad. Zoos are bad. Zoos are bullshit. Fuck zoos. Like safaris and stuff like that. And you want more and everything like that. Why don't you get, like, if you had the PIM particles, you could get what is a normal safari area of land, which is like a shitload of land, and then if you make all the animals tiny and restructure the land so it's minuscule, but you still have that area of space, man, you could have so much, like, you could have all these beautiful little sanctuaries for these animals to be completely free, completely let alone, completely untouched, just without, like, also, you know, doing that thing where you go too far and you're like, all of the lands should be for the animals. All of it. So where are we going to sleep? It doesn't matter. They were here first. No, that's not how it works. We were here for a really, really long time. Like, I don't... No. Animals first. People's fifth. But for those people to be happy, I'm like, look, teeny tiny little elephants. You know what I mean? And like, oh, it's in my back garden. Like, you know that Warhammer stuff? You can create like a massive fucking huge event, huge table place in like some massive like area of land and owned building space and whatever, and just have all these little sections and places, like the botanical gardens and shit like that. But it's all like miniaturized, so you're not taking up too much space. Like the stuff you could do is unreal, man. You could go to space and be like, oh, we want to mine asteroids. Fuck that. Pew! How about pebbles? In my pocket there. And pew, 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 pew. And you take them all back and you're like, what I have on my hand can run the entire Earth and another 50,000 Earths for triple time that the Earth has been alive. And we could be using the resources 10 times the rate that we're using right now, and we're still fine. You know, like, that's the level of shit you can do. It's mad. You can make theme parks, and you're like, hey, you must be, this tall to enter. Ha ha ha. Pew! And you go down really small, and you go into this mad theme park, and the land and everything. Like, there's so much more room, and things are so much more smaller. It's mad. It makes the brain think. But there are some things in the movie that's like, that's cool in theory, but in practicality, that makes no sense at all. So Hank gets a box that he has, and it has buildings in it. And he takes one building and he puts it down, and he goes boop, and it goes bling, and it's a big building. And this is on an island at a beach. So not near a city, not near anything like that. It's just an island, and he's on a beach, and he makes the house big. It's a wooden house. So every house, before you actually see the house, there's something called foundation, and that's built underneath the house, and that's what essentially houses the plumbing, the wirings, and everything like that is like structured from those junction boxes and from those places. And then, the veins of either the plumbing or the electricity gets built up around that throughout the house. You can't, if you take just a house, lift the wooden floors off the foundation, you leave everything behind, and you disconnect everything from that foundation, which is literally a part of the ground now. You don't have running water, you don't have water, you don't have electricity, you don't have broadband. You just have a building. So, like, that's fucking pointless, man. You can't have a fridge. There's no electricity. Unless you have some, like, okay, if he has some other PIM technology shit, great. But all he did was take a wooden house out of a box and go, boom, a home. You're like, that's not how it works. What about people who build shacks? Okay, those shacks usually have no plumbing and no cable or internet or anything like that. Like, you got to run wires, man. You can't just miscellaneously just drop a building. Boop. Oh, it's automatically connected to everything. At the edge of a fucking beach on an island. Like, when the tide comes in, like, I don't know. There's one or two things like that where you're like, that wouldn't work. Also, I think if you were to be a small car and then press that button and then go large underneath another vehicle of a similar weight, wouldn't the whole bottom of your car break and dent in? I don't know. But it's a movie, so yay! I ignored that shit. It's not the only kind of stuff I thought about after the fact. But otherwise, bitchin', fun, good banter. However, there are cons. And the cons are, one, entire waste of Walter Goggins. He's got a very particular ability to do a type of a character, and if you don't give him the free reign to be that person, it's a waste. Like, any other generic dude could have played that villain, and you wouldn't have noticed the difference. However, you can't not have Walter Goggins in Hateful Eight. You can't do Vice Principals without Walter Goggins. But you could definitely do Ant-Man without him, and it was kind of a waste. So I don't know. That kind of annoys me, because you're like, oh, Walter Goggins in this, deadly. Oh, he's not acting, they gave him a role where he can't embellish into it and show how good of an actor he is. This is weird. It happened again with, before that with Tomb Raider. There's two very generic villain parts. Now, I'm not really mad on him, because it's like, hey man, I got paid a shitload, didn't have to do much work that day. I just assumed from a Marvel movie, or sure, I'm assuming, makes an ass of you and me, but whatever, from a Marvel movie that he'd be allowed to embellish a bit more, but whatever. To me personally, I put that as a bit of a con. There was a definite feel of double film overlap. By that I mean there was the movie the actors saw from the script that the script writers and the director wanted, and then there was other scenes and scenarios that were forced in or made to happen by producers or people in suit people, that you can tell, like, we want that scene in there. Kids respond well to that scene. And it's not really relevant to the movie, and it's kind of makes this kind of forces this plot to go a certain way, meandering around where it would have made more sense if you just did this. Yeah, 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 but no, because we'll be able to sell more toys if we do this scene and this scene and this scene. Okay, fine. So it's definite that, but you know, that's gonna happen with, unfortunately, the more, what's the best way to do this? Okay, so usually when a movie has a shitload of budget, like a massive budget and massive expectations, the studio is very, very close and very just breathing over everyone's neck, just sitting there watching and tweaking and touching. It seems to be the opposite in Marvel movies. And as well for when they trust, whatever studio trusts a director, or the director has a big enough dick to go, fuck off. Um, the big movies in Marvel, Disney seems to go, "Whoa, this is you, buddy. This is you. You got us to where we are with your shit. So with your weird, that's you. That's you. Hey, don't get involved. Leave that shit alone. Leave that shit alone." But when it's the smaller movies or the not as big, massive ones, the main team are working with the bigger phases, the main movies, the main veins. So they need, so a few extra Disney people will come down to oversee these other side movies, and that's where you see that shit happening. There's no one massive big dick director or actor really in it who's invested enough or relevant enough to the entire plot and role that, you know, they're fucking things up and ruining the movie. It's enough that the people making the movie might still think that they're making a, like, oh yeah, this is great, but only afterwards go, oh, well, that was a bit, I liked it, but yeah, maybe they didn't need that scene there, you know? Things like that. I don't know. I could be completely wrong and talking out of my arse, and for the most part, I usually am. But I just got that feeling that there was something, some kind of stuff, studio stuff going on, that there was just some scenes you're like, really, did it need to be that? I don't think that would make much sense, really. Like, and this stuff does happen. Google, if you can, if you want, and try to find an article about Patty Jenkins and what she had to go through to make Wonder Woman. The scene No Man's Land, where she's climbing up the ladder, and then she, you know, there's just that badass scene where the Gatling gun's going hitting off her shield, and she's just standing there moving back, and then she's like, fuck this, and just starts moving forward and pushing through, and everyone's like, holy shit, she's making a gap. She's pushing through. Everybody go! And they all fucking jump behind her and just go and rush the place. Studio people wanted that gone. They said it was not necessary and it was just a waste of, it would take up too much film time, and they wanted to do something else with it instead and have this totally other scene that was very flat and very shitty. I had to have a massive argument with them, like massive. I am 100% going. I'm like, I'm absolutely gone. I'm gonna trash this movie if you keep fucking putting your finger just my germs. You know, stop doing it. You asked me here for a fucking reason. You gave me this deal for a fucking reason. Now, take a hike while I make millions, so that the next time I see you, you'll go, hello, Miss Jenkins. Whatever you want, Miss Jenkins. You get Miss Jenkins whatever she wants. You know, I know that's going to happen. It's going to happen. make sure when it does, I don't absolutely despise you because you're a dickhole. And let me make my goddamn movie. Yeah, like Google that shit because it's mental. I didn't know that she literally had to fight for almost every good scene in that film. It's the kind of people who are like, Wonder Woman, I mean, I get it, but do you know what would be better? Wonder Gal. Because her name's Gal Gadot, and then Gal is just so much more standard right now. It's woman is like very much older, and the girl's like, well, but everyone could be a Gal, you know, my good time Gal. So I think we're just going to change it to Wonder Gal. And Wonder, it makes me wonder, what is a wonder? I don't know, it's wonder. We don't want to wonder, we want to know. So how about just Fantastic Gal? Fantastic Gal. Okay, we're going to call it Fantastic Gal. And then just walk off, you're like, hey, come back, reefing by the, what the what was going on? Oh, Jim's dead. What? Oh, Jim's dead. Jim talks shit, so I had to kill Jim. Well, what did Jim, it doesn't matter what Jim said, or what Jim wanted, because he's dead now. Now can I continue making my movie? Like, it's mental, some of the shit that goes on. Like, is your purpose to not make money? What are you doing? So God bless Patty Jenkins for keeping up that fight. She is a Wonder Woman. Yeah, finally, and I mean this. Oh God, this is hard. I want to pre-emphasis this with, I don't even think that's the right phrase, but I want to give a prerequisite. When I was a kid, I saw Batman Returns, and although I was like, I think maybe 6 or 7 or something, and I was like, Batman was 1989, so the Batman Returns was 1992, was it? Batman Return. I ever watched a animated Batman with Japanese subtitles? It's Batman. It's cool. It's funny. Hey, 1992! Boom! So it came out in the cinema in 1992. Did I go to the cinema to see that? With my family? What ratings was that? PG-13. Yeah, which means Alan would have been 12. Yeah, PG-13, yeah. I think I did see that, but... Okay, so I either saw it in the cinema when I was 5, or I watched it on video when I was 6.5, 7. I was already at the stage where I was like, oh wow, women can be pretty. But I hadn't hit that stage. I was like, whoa, women are, what's that? Watching that scene with Michelle Pfeiffer when, I can't remember who she says it to, but she burgles a place, and then as she leaves, she flips. And she just flip, closer and closer and closer to the camera. And then eventually she gets right in front of the camera, as in the eyes of the person. Awesome. I love this. Hello? What's the crack? I'm just recording video. Just finishing. No, I'm not making food. Yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, peace. Alright, cool. Talk to you. Awesome. My boy's coming down. Not like my son. My boy. I don't have a son. My boy! Um, yeah, so when she does that, she's supposed to be looking at the camera or in the eyes of the person. I can't remember if there's a person there or not, but anyway, she goes right in front and she's... meow. And the building explodes behind her. And the camera's like, you just see her in her full get up. And dude, that was the moment I was a kid when I was like, oh. What's happening here? Like 6 years old. Like Michelle Pfeiffer is not to be trifled with. And to this day, she's still gorgeous. But there are surgeons nowadays that work on plastic surgery for people who had plastic surgery in the old days when it really wasn't that good. And then they're fixing it now where a lot of stuff, simple stuff like lips, nose, chin, cheekbones, it's unnoticeable that they've had surgery. This just looks like their face now. So they're doing that stuff. I would like someone who, if anyone listens who knows Michelle Pfeiffer, to just position her towards and go, oh, look at that billboard. We have that friend with that fucked up face. Let's go and see. But it's actually not for the friend with the fucked up face. It's just for Michelle. Her lip. It's grand. I'm used to seeing women at that age, and sometimes dudes as well. Um, and they have that kind of lip done, and it's the old style, but it's like whatever. I'm used to it. I've seen it before. Um, it's like the duck lips before duck lips. But when you de-age someone and that's still there, and you don't really get rid of it because you don't want to have mustache gate baby mouth thing that Cavill had. God bless him, it's not his fault. Just film the back of his head and the eyes of the faces of the kids in wonder as it looking up at Superman. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then just when he asks about like what matters most to you, whatever, and then he smiles, he's thinking of Lois. You just look at his eyes. You just show his eyes and the smile in his eyes. You don't have to show baby mouth. But anyway, you don't want to mess with that. So the de-aging, when you know it's so good now, and you can see how good it is, because you're looking at Michael Douglas being like, it's Doc Brown? Did he come by in the DeLorean and just go, come with me? Jesus, it's good. But with Michelle, everything else about her is younger, except this weird thing. And I don't know, it's just me, but my eye was just lip, lip. Because it's a cinema. So the fucking thing is massive. Like, if I was to go like this and live from the feet to my hands, that's how much of the screen her lip covered. So it's not exactly easy to not notice. It's only noticeable. God bless her. But yeah, that kind of just took me out for a second. It's not. But these cons aren't. It made the movie shit. These cons are. They took me out for a second. I'm involved. I'm in this world, and then and it takes me out. And it's fine. I don't mind. But because of that, I can't put it on the same level as other films, as some other ones. But still, comedy-wise and shit like that, I really enjoyed it. I liked that it was natural good comedy, and they weren't trying to be like joke, 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 joke. It actually blended very well. It was very nice. Yeah. So that's. Oh wait, I'm supposed to do this and have this in the background because I spent fucking ages trying to, not necessarily doing it, but I spent ages going, what picture am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. Like, what am I gonna do? And then eventually I was like, oh well, I suppose I could just swap their bodies and make one make them look fucking weird, and put the predecessors of their costume, of their character superhero persona behind them, and then have like weird honeycomb shit in like a fractal in the distance, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I didn't fucking show you for the whole thing. It was the other main camera. God damn it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. That is my review on Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, it was good. It was enjoyable. If you want to watch a fun comedy with a decent bit of action, and side note for the dudes out there, Hannah John Kamen is beautiful. Like, Disney level. Oh my god. Like, you'd have to draw someone for them to be that, just all the right marks and face shape that make people go, wow, wow. She's a melting pot of mixes of race. I'm not exactly sure. Actually, I am curious as to what the story is. Hannah John Kamen. Hannah Dominique E. John Kamen, Jesus, is a British actress. She's known for her role as Dutch in the sci-fi television series Killjoys, or Nella in the HBO. Oh yeah, She's Ornella in Game of Thrones! And oh, how the f did I miss that? What is wrong with my brain? I'm so sorry. Yeah, badass. So, when Khaleesi is held in that building tent with the Dothraki city before she like burns into the ground, she's like, I can't remember what she says, but it's basically, I'm fire, bitch. And that's not what she says at all, but it's basically like, look, behold my awesomeness, I am naked in the flames. Please, parents, don't watch this episode. The girl who is with her, who she actually helps free, that's Hannah John Kamen. That's Ornella. Finelli Zander and Steven Spielberg, Ready Player One. Oh yeah, well how am I supposed to know that? She's got a fucking thing. And Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Hannah was born in Beverley, Yorkshire, England. Yorkshire, yes. That's very similar to Kent. In the accent, you know what I mean? Uh, but like where are her Okay, there we wow! Talk about a mix. The blackest and the whitest. Nigerian and Norwegian. Holy shit. You couldn't get more fucking like that is the blackest place and the whitest place on the planet. That's fucking cool. No wonder when you mix races, man, it's better. Like genetics and humans and stuff has shown it's better. Hey, guess what dogs are better? Mongrels. Guess what dogs get super sick and old a lot quicker and die and get like blind at like the age of 5 and shit? Pure breeds. Yeah. Because it's basically incest. You want to diversify that pool as much as possible, and as a reward for that, the physical makeup of the face of people and the body tone structure is usually generally more pleasing to the eye by the sequence of Fibonacci and the mathematical ratio for what human and the world is defined for stuff that's appealingly and nice to look at. Appealing and nice to look at. But yeah, so the two complete opposites. Yeah, you're gonna get someone who's pure fire. And that's a testament to her figure and her ability to do all the stunts and shit and stuff that she does as well. She doesn't do all of them because some people have to get paid, but trained in ballet, cabaret, jazz, dance, salsa, and tap dance. Tap dance! Man, I didn't know that. That's apparently really fucking hard to learn. Yeah, she's badass. So, yeah, she's in that film and she plays a cool character and she's awesome. Evangeline Lilly killed it. Absolutely kills it. I'm so glad she got out of... she survived Lost. She survived that island and now she's killing it. I love her as Janet, or Hope. I love her as Hope. I love Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet, by the way. There's this great scene where Janet's mind is connecting with Paul Rudd and he, like, acts as her. It's really well done. It's a really well done piece where you can see the other actor in the actor that's pretending to be that other person. Like you can see the Michelle Pfeiffer, Janet Van Dyne in the in Paul Rudd as he's pretending to be her. It's really weird Inception character acting thing, but it was great. It was a great good scene. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I rambled on because I have a problem ending things. So cheers. Make sure to like and subscribe. I've been Dan the Mexican. This has been Aztec Emerald Nerd, and I'll be back later in the week with more videos. I'm going to be doing, there's a fight this weekend, I think, so I'm going to try and do an MMA one as well. Until then, peace! Stay cheesy? No. Stay easy? No. I'm trying to think of something better to say than peace, but maybe we all could do with a bit more peace. So peace.